Hey, it has been a while, I know, but I'm gonna spare you the long introduction because I'm in a hurry, and that's because the World Cup is starting soon, and I know that a lot of you are planning on going to Qatar to see the World Cup. So in this video, I will tell you about the SIM card options here in Qatar so that you can get the best option for your situation. So let's get started, shall we? Hi, it's Ooredoo for Phone Travelers here, where we talk about everything related to traveling with your phone, such as buying a SIM card here in Qatar. If videos like this sound interesting to you, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Okay, so I will give you a brief summary of everything you need to know before we go much more in depth about the telecom situation here in Qatar. You only have two mobile operators, which are Ooredoo and Vodafone Qatar. You can get a SIM card for 10 Qatari Riyal or QAR, although officially Ooredoo hands them for free, but you either have to buy a plan, you have to top up at least 10 Riyal in order to get the SIM card. Two SIM cards are available starting from 35 Riyal up to 150 Riyal, and of course there are some conversions on the screen already. At least I hope my editor did that already. SIM card registration is mandatory in Qatar, so you have to hand over your passport when getting your SIM card, otherwise it cannot be activated. SIM cards are sold at the Seoul airport here in Qatar, which is Hamad International Airport in Doha. 5G is available in Qatar, and it's also available to prepaid customers on select plans only, and the plans, they are reasonably priced. They are a little bit more expensive for regional standards, and the region, it's not the cheapest place for mobile data in the Middle East. So that's just a brief introduction of all you basically need to know. If you think, well, that's all I need to know, thank you, all good, like the video, and I will see you in the next one. But for the rest of us, we're gonna continue because I want to tell you a little bit more about the two options here, which, you know, might seem a little because in many countries you have 3, 5, or in the US even like 21 prepaid options, even more nowadays, including the MVNOs of course, but in Qatar we only have 2. And as I mentioned, the SIM cards are sold for 10 Riyal, and although they give them for free, but minimum top up of 10 Riyal is mandatory, or if you buy a plan, you still get the SIM card for free. Ooredoo has the tourist SIM cards, which they actually revamped for the World Cup. Before they only had one SIM card, which was the Visitor SIM, which only came with like a handful of data. It was absolutely bad. Nowadays it's better with more data, and actually have two options where you get even more data and international call credit. So let's just go over those options quickly. You have the Fan SIM and the Super Fan SIM for 35 Riyal and 150 Riyal. With the Super Fan SIM you get 30 Riyal for credit, which can be used for SMS, call, international use, whatever you want to. 2 to 20 gigabytes of data, minutes up to 400, international minutes up to 75 minutes, valid for 7 or 30 days. Although the Fan SIM, the SIM card or the plan is valid for 7 days, the SIM card itself is valid for 30 days. So let's say after 7 days you want to get another plan, that's possible. Well, officially Vodafone doesn't have any tourist SIM cards at the moment, and if you buy a SIM card at Doha International Airport or Hamad International Airport to be official, they do sell them there, but instead of 10 Riyal they will charge you 35 Riyal for that, so be aware of this. Okay, so where to get yourself the SIM card? Well, you have to go to the official stores of the mobile operators or partner stores, which would be Vodafone stores or Ooredoo stores. You go there and just tell them, hey, I want a prepaid SIM card. They will sort things out. Remember to bring your passport with you, otherwise SIM card cannot be sold / activated / registered because it's mandatory. Okay, so I know that a lot of you are interested in speeds like myself. Which mobile operator here is actually the fastest? Which operator gives you the fastest speeds, and which cities are actually the fastest? Well, let me tell you all about that. On 4G LTE, Ooredoo is the fastest mobile operator with a median download speed of more than 113 megabits per second, which is nice, which is good. Whereas Vodafone has a median download speed of a little bit more than 93, which is still very fast. Right now at the time of recording, the global median is about 31 megabits per second. So, well, even though Vodafone was slow, it's still way faster than in many countries. So in which cities will you actually get the fastest speeds? Well, there are 4 cities on the list that I'm already showing you on the screen, which I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce correctly because I will probably embarrass myself, but you'll see that in the top 5 fastest cities, Doha is on place 5 with the median download speed of a little bit more than 114, which is still fast, but the capital city is not the fastest place for mobile data, which is understandable because, well, there are a lot of people, which brings more congestion to the tower. As I mentioned in the summary, 5G NR is available to prepaid customers. So you probably want to know, well, which mobile operator is the fastest for 5G, which is still Ooredoo with a median download speed of 443 megabits per second, which is insanely fast. In fact, Qatar is on top of my head in the top 3 or top 5 fastest country for mobile data in general and also for 5G. So for fast speeds, you probably want to be in Qatar. Well, Vodafone is actually not doing that bad. Just with 4G, it was just slightly behind. Same with 5G NR with a median download speed of, let's just say, 426 megabits per second. So that's quite cool. And as I mentioned, 5G NR is only available if you buy select plans. Most plans are just up to 4G, but some plans, we will talk about that a little bit later, it will say 5G in the name, and then you will get 5G SS. Okay, so what about coverage here in Qatar? Well, you probably already know that Qatar is not the biggest out there, so you expect basically perfect nationwide coverage, which is true because the availability score, the 4G availability score is at least 97.5%, and I think that's Ooredoo. Well, with Vodafone it's like 98, which is, you know, basically perfect coverage because, well, 98. So they're doing well. In terms of 5G NR, Ooredoo is actually winning the race with the availability score of more than 20%, where Vodafone is on top of my head around 14%. So it's, you know, 5G still being rolled out. If you're going to Qatar for the World Cup, well, in Doha, 5G will be available almost anywhere, at least at all the stadiums you're gonna, well, visit. So you don't have to worry about that if you really care about 5G, which I do, but I don't really care enough about football, so you won't see me in Qatar yet. Maybe next year after this cup is over. Okay, so which SIM card is actually the best here in Qatar? Well, based on the information I've already given you, you probably already deduced that it will be Ooredoo because that's the best coverage and the fastest speeds. So yeah, it's actually quite easy. That doesn't mean that Vodafone is bad, not at all. It's just that Ooredoo is slightly better, which is actually quite great. So you have two options, but you know, Ooredoo is a bit better, so I recommend Ooredoo. Okay, so let's talk about eSIMs quickly, because eSIMs are available in Qatar. In fact, Ooredoo offers eSIMs to prepaid customers. Back in 2018, Ooredoo also had eSIMs, but then they quietly phased it out and now it's not there at all. I hope it's reintroduced before the World Cup starts because, well, you know, eSIMs are going a big thing right now. But if you really want eSIM, then you want to go with Vodafone because, well, they're the only operator that offers eSIM right now. But there are some travel eSIM providers that offer eSIMs as well for very competitive prices, which would be Airlo, SIM Corner and Holofly. Now, the price of these travel eSIMs are about similar / slightly more expensive than the local options, but at least you do not have to deal with SIM card registration requirements, which, well, some people ask me like, why do you always have to mention that? Well, let's say in the case right now, I'm in Australia and the second largest mobile operator, Optus, which there's a SIM card behind me. A few weeks ago, somebody hacked them and 10 million customers' data got, well, breached, including mine. Well, I'm lucky, mine was just a phone number, email address. My boyfriend was not as lucky because his passport number got stolen as well. So that's why I'm always like, you know, if I can avoid SIM card registration, I would. But since I buy SIM cards for testing purposes anyway, yeah, well, I'm not avoiding it at all. But some people really care about our privacy, so that's why I keep mentioning these stuff. Well, if you want to learn more about the eSIM options for Qatar, make sure to go to ptw.link/Qatar-eSIM. But I will have some links in the description with Airlo, with Pro Mobile, where they have 5 options up to 20 gigabytes of data, which is actually a very good eSIM. And the 1 gigabyte version and the 5 gigabyte versions are very popular with phone service readers. They love it. They email me to say, hey, this eSIM is great. SIM Corner recently introduced their eSIM, so it's quite new, but actually one phone service reader tried it out and they had a good experience as well. Same for Holofly, they actually have 3 different options, starting from 3 gigabytes for 7 days up to, I think, 8 gigabytes for 15 days. And they have good reviews as well. But like I said, let's keep this section short. Make sure to go to ptw.link/Qatar-eSIM or go to the phone service website, search Qatar, and you'll see my eSIM guide for Qatar. Okay, now it's time to talk about the plans. Well, if you have watched any of my older videos, I usually like to select one plan because in the case of Qatar, Ooredoo has like 7 different plans, Vodafone has like 5. I'm not gonna go through all of them because this video is already long enough. So I chose a combo plan that might be interesting to you. But if you want to see the up-to-date prices, at the time of recording, I checked these prices like a week ago, should be okay. But let's say if you watch this video in 2024, make sure to go to ptw.link/Qatar-guide, where you will have the up-to-date prices and the up-to-date plans, because a video I cannot update, the written guide I can, and the Qatar guide gets updated at least twice a year. So yeah, just so you know. For Ooredoo, I chose the Hala Super Recharge, which is a combo plan with data and local minutes. Let's have a look. Starting from 30 Riyal up to 500 Riyal, you get 1.5 gigabytes of data and unlimited data, which is basically 150 gigabytes, with your local minute allowance between 60 minutes and 20,000 minutes, and the validity is always 30 days. If you look at the 500 Riyal plan again, where it says 150 gigabytes of data, that's like a 1, which means that if you go over this high-speed data allowance, this 150 gigabytes of data, then you still get unlimited data, but then your speeds are throttled to 1 megabits per second, because I tell you it's slow. So, well, if you manage to go over 150 gigabytes of data within 1 month, hey, congrats, but then be aware that your speeds will be throttled. So yeah. Okay, for Vodafone, I chose the Combo Plus plans, which are also combo plans. Also, and unlike the Hala Super Recharges or something like that, these also include international call allowances. So let's have a look. Starting from 20 Riyal up to 750 Riyal, you have data ranging from 1 gigabyte of data up to 500. And you will see that the last two ones, they are throttled at 2 megabits per second and 15. 2 megabits per second is slow, just like 1 is, not fun. 15 is reasonable, it can be worse, but 15 is okay. But will still be too slow to video stream on 4K resolution, so be aware of that. 1080p will be fine, 2K should also be fine. Then you have local minutes starting from 25 up to unlimited local minutes, at least there's no fair use policy that I'm aware of. And international minutes ranging from 15 minutes all the way up to 500 minutes, valid for 7 days up to 30, and the minutes cannot be used to all countries around the world, but the most popular countries, or I think all the countries that have visa-free access to Qatar, you can call to. So EU, North America, Oceania, most Asian countries, or I say most, in this case Southeast Asia and East Asia, Middle East, you should be fine. And that's it. That's what you need to know about Qatari SIM cards. At least I went over the most important stuff, and well, I excluded some plans, but as I said, if you go to ptw.link/Qatar-guide, you can read all the up-to-date plans as well. If you're interested in my Qatar SIM card reviews, eventually they will come. There will be an eye on the screen and you can watch those. And for now, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.